Highs for today in New Braunfels, Texas is about 52 degrees. And when it's chilly outside, you may want to get some chili inside of you. This is my recipe for chili to keep you warm in chilly weather. Let me show you how it's done. Step one for me is to brown some ground beef. I have about 2 pounds here going into a cast iron pan, and I will separate it, break it up, so it can cook faster and brown evenly. Next step for me, I'm going to dice a medium-sized onion. I found this method on YouTube, inserting my paring knife and twisting the onion to remove the core on both ends. Once the core on the ends are removed, I'll cut the onion in half, make some downward slits on the onion, and then some downward slices against those slits in order to dice the onion. And you'll see it happen here. Now, one word of caution I will say, this method was not a method that will guarantee you not to be in tears, but it does make for a very good even sliced diced onion. And here I'm starting the downward slits in the onion, and then I'll make some downward slices you'll see coming up that will dice it. Here we go. And this was a really easy method. Any leftover large pieces, just give them a nice chop so they can be diced nice and evenly. Now, once that's done, I use my knife to scrape up my diced onion and into the pan with the simmering and browning ground beef. I want my onions to get to a nice, clear consistency so I know that the flavor is being distributed throughout. Now I'm going to add just about, I would say 2 teaspoons of salt. And if this is not enough for your taste, you can definitely taste it later, and then salt and pepper to your liking. Now I'm going to add some fresh garlic. I give a good hit to the head of garlic. That breaks it up into cloves, then I peel it, and now you'll see me chop it up. Now for this, I have no real method other than to just dice it very small and finely and then into the pan. My ground beef is done, and I'm scooping out the onion, garlic, and ground beef and into a separate pot where I will add some liquid. You'll see the tomato sauce is coming in. That will simmer for quite a while so I can make my chili. Now this lets me also drain off a lot of the fat, so I'm not pouring fat down my sink. I'm controlling it by scooping it out using a spatula and a large spoon. Now to add some more texture and flavor and another type of meat into my chili, I'm dicing up a very thin ribeye that will also go into the mix. I find that a lot of my family and friends, when I make chili, they find these chunks of meat like this and they try to figure out, hey, that's not ground beef. And it's because I add other meats to my chili from time to time. Now let's give that a stir throughout the brown ground beef, and it will also cook and get brown and nice and done with the onion. Now I'm going to add some ground Comino. This was the last of the Comino that I had, was not very much, so that's about a teaspoon. Chili powder, I'm going to add about 2, maybe 2.5 tablespoons with those shakes there. What's not shown is I did add some more later. I'm going to stir that up and let the flavors get nice and blended through while the ground beef and the diced ribeye are simmering. Now here comes the tomato sauce. This is a 29-ounce can. Whole thing goes in. You can see the amount of ounces on there, and just a store brand, nothing special. Now these are diced fire roasted tomatoes. 14.5 ounce can goes into the pot. And the last thing will be some tomato paste. This is a 6 ounce can. Also going into the pot. This does add some sweetness into the chili, adds another level of flavor. I've had zero complaints. Everyone seems to love it. All this gets stirred together. Now, while this is simmering, I'm going to start my cornbread. Into a bowl, I'm putting in 2.5 cups of cornmeal, 1 full cup of flour, a tablespoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt. This can be sea salt or table salt. This is my dry mixture, and I'm mixing it all before I add my liquids, which are going to be 2 eggs into a separate bowl. 2/3 of a cup of vegetable oil, 1 cup of buttermilk, and 2 tablespoons of honey. If your honey is hard like the one I purchased, just put it in the microwave, it will liquefy. Also, 1 full stick of melted butter. This now goes into my dry mix. And you don't want to over mix. You just want to mix it enough so you have no dry portions. Now, back to my now clean cast iron pan. About a tablespoon of melted butter, melted and spread through the pan, and then in goes my cornbread mix. My oven is set to 350. And my cast iron pan with the cornbread mix goes into the oven. This baked in the oven for about 40 minutes. So while my chili is cooking, my cornbread is in the oven. I want to add one more flavor profile to my chili, talking about sausage. Let's go ahead and chop this up. From the ends, I cut long ways into the sausage and then turned it 90 degrees and then made another long cut in. This divides my slices into 4 pieces. So once I start chopping, as you see here, each slice gives me 4 pieces that I can add to my chili pot. Now my cornbread is out of the oven and it is fully cooked and very good. This came out really well. I really do like using my cast iron pan for this. Stirring up my chili and ready to plate up some for myself for my dinner. And now putting some chili in the bowl for myself. Slicing a piece of cornbread for myself. And topping off my chili with some sour cream. If you've never had it this way, you have to try it. That's all I can say is you have to try it. And I've already got some shredded cheese in that small bowl, and that will go on top to complete that bowl of chili to keep me nice and warm during this cold weather. Couple of pats of butter on my cornbread. You can see how I sliced it in half there. Now, time for me to sit down and enjoy. Well, I hope from this you can see that making a good hot bowl of chili on a chilly day is something easy that you can do and keep yourself nice and warm inside and out. Even though the temperatures are cold outside, you can be warm on the inside. But doesn't make any difference if it doesn't taste good, right? And yes, I like mine with the sour cream and cheese you saw me put in here. Yeah. And don't forget the cornbread. Oop. Mm, that is good. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, put it on your Facebook, send it to everyone you know, and please consider subscribing to the channel. Please consider liking the video, and I hope I see you again back here for more tips and recipes that'll keep you warm and keep your belly full all throughout the year. Have a great day.